There was a time when he was a street outlaw, the 405, and the man hiding behind the crow. Then Big Chief just disappeared. Just quiet, no goodbye episode. Rumors, whispers of strife behind the scenes, mysterious internet statements, and silent speculation about personal issues kept fans in the dark. But it didn't explain why he left so quickly. That transpired subsequent to that. Years later, a disturbing new revelation has emerged, casting doubt on Big Chief's departure and making one wonder what he has been up to when he's not in the public eye. Justin Shearer, better known by his nickname Big Chief, became famous for his street racing exploits in Oklahoma's punishing streets. Justin, who was born on December 9, 1980 in Louisville, Kentucky, has an innate love for fast cars and machines from a young age. He would often be found assisting his mom with horse training and his dad with car repairs when he was a kid. Working hard from a young age not only taught him the value of hard labor, but it also contributed to the unrelenting determination that would come to characterize him as an adult. Oklahoma City became the new home for Justin and his family. Following his parents' divorce, the going got rough. Juggling employment and nursing school, she managed to be a single mother. Her doggedness nonetheless made an impression on Justin. He had a racing obsession by the time he was 9 years old. Just to see the street racers rip up the pavement would be enough to make him ride his bike down to Old Route 66. Not for Justin, it was more than a hobby. A lifetime passion was ignited by it. We couldn't afford to take a vacation to a professional track, thus Justin's time on the streets served as his trial run. By the time he was 10 years old, he was already driving. In contrast to his peers, he was focused on horsepower while they were preoccupied with homework. He started out at Putnam City High, but quickly dropped out. Books were no match. While an engine is running, he worked odd jobs like pumping gas to fund his pursuit of his dream of becoming a famous competitor in late-night grudge races. He purchased his first vehicle, a 1972 Pontiac Le Mans, when he was 16 years old. He came to identify with that race automobile. However, things did not begin without a hitch. In his debut race, he was defeated by a young driver in a Chevy Beretta. It hurt. He placed the blame on the car's underwhelming performance and vowed then and there to construct an unbeatable machine, one that would surpass even the Beretta. In 1999, Justin met Alicia at a full-service gas station where he worked. Just as his racing career was starting to take off, there was an immediate bond. They made it work, even though Justin was heavily involved in the underground racing scene and Alicia was focused on education. They became engaged in 2005, the year after Alicia earned her diploma from Oklahoma City Community College, and they were married the following year on September 29. Having a fast automobile wasn't the only thing Justin had going for him anymore. After earning a coveted spot on the first 405 list, the official rating of the quickest in the region, he maintained his reputation as one of Oklahoma's finest street racers. The spotlight then swooped in like a lion very immediately afterward. At Discovery Channel, things were changing quickly in June 2013 after the cancellation of Jesse James's show Outlaw Garage and the continued success of Quick and Loud. The network was in need of a new Monday night show to captivate viewers. In the right places, fans' online feedback was obviously heard by Discovery's crew. People were looking for a change from the scripted automobile construction shows. They wanted something more exciting, authentic, and real. The street races from Oklahoma City are here. The OKC team was included in a race film that the producers saw by accident and were absolutely amazed. What would later be known as Street Outlaws had its spark ignited by the video. Justin Shearer is in the middle of it all. The new series immediately took notice of him. Fans of Richard Rawlings and the Gas Monkeys stayed tuned in to witness the premiere of Street Outlaws because they were curious about the new show. There was a lot of early excitement on social media, engaged in lively debates about the show's personalities and races. Even though many were interested in the pilot, Discovery truly shone in the second week. More than simply the racing, viewers were becoming to identify with the characters. Not only were the boys from the 405 passionate about cars, but they were also funny, outspoken, competitive, and easy to relate to. Their genuine rivalry and continual banter made them more endearing and real. The cast and crew of Street Outlaws were different from other auto shows in that they got along well thanks to their mutual admiration and love of street racing. Their argument felt genuine though, that sincerity won over many. The first run of 8 episodes had been expanded to 16 by August 2013. Just 4 months later, in December, the second season began broadcasting. Big Chief wasn't renowned for his leadership alone. His allegiance was as well known as the discovery of riches. Even when Chevy builds were all the rage in the racing scene, he never wavered from his Pontiac heritage. Everyone told him to put a Chevy engine in his 1972 Pontiac Le Mans, but he was stubborn and refused. At one point, he almost made the move to a Chevy 350, but he ultimately decided against it. He was determined to show that the Pontiac could compete. The Crow was born out of a combination of stubbornness and pride. Over the years, the Le Mans received numerous improvements. Almost the entire front end and doors were constructed of fiberglass for easy removal, and it ran on methanol at the time. A 482 cubic inch Pontiac engine, which was twin turbocharged, was housed under the hood. It was one of the most vicious Street Outlaw engines, despite its diminutive size. How could it have been even more awesome? The engine was assembled using primarily commercially available components. We used an old Crow crankshaft with GRP, aluminum rods and Ross pistons, and the block was an IA2. Its compression ratio was 12.3:1 thanks to Edelbrock Performer RPM cylinder heads. A Comcam, Crow lifters, Smith Brothers push rods, pack springs, T&D shaft mount, rocker arms and Varaya valves were all part of the valve train. The alcohol conversion, complete wiring and camshaft specifications were all taken care of by Quillen Motorsports. Dondal Race Cars assisted with the fine-tuning of the 4-link rear suspension and provided the 25.2 certified roll cage. Kinesthetic Engineering supplied the Penske coilovers all around, and up front it was a stock-style setup with TRZ components, a Rossler-built TH400 gearbox, and a Pro-Torque EV 1-torque converter were used to transfer power before being transferred to an unusual 9-inch rear axle via a PST carbon fiber drive. Both ends were equipped with aerospace brakes for stopping purposes. To be honest though, the turbochargers were the real showstoppers. The boost output from the 8,891 precision turbos ranged from 46 to 52 pounds. The intake side plumbing was handled by Quillen Motorsports, while Jeff Lutz handled the hot side plumbing. Big Chief personally tuned the FuelTech EFI system that powered the engine. For no prep racing, he needed explosive low-end power, which VP Racing's M5 methanol provided. Additionally, his shifting speed was an enthralling 8,600 RPM, which is excessive for any Pontiac engine. Concerning the car's moniker, many pondered why it was dubbed the Crow, despite its white color. The U was unrelated to the name, it turns out. Originally titled The Crow, Justin wanted his opponents to devour him after a loss. Thus, the name stuck long before the paint job. As the OKC gang demonstrated in 2015, Street Outlaws were more than just TV stars, and no prep racing had entered the mainstream. They were authentic. Big Chief cemented his status at the first ever Outlaw Armageddon event, which was called the World Series of No Prep Racing and hosted at Thunder Valley Raceway Park. After facing off against 32 of the game's most formidable opponents in his twin-turbo Le Mans, he triumphed and won home a whopping $20,000, 0 cents, at the No Prep Invitational. True to its origins in street racing, the format survived. Old school means no preparation, starting with a flashlight and finish line spotters. It was a stacked lineup. From Mississippi, we have Murdo Nova, Monza Body, and Kai Kelly. Quite a few notorious figures from the industry. The victor was Big Chief after 5 intense rounds. He had the cash on hand, and his legacy solidified in a world without prep racing. Nothing could have been prevented until the unspeakable transpired. Big Chief was engaged in a horrific high-speed accident that totally wrecked his legendary 1972 Pontiac Le Mans on November 14, 2015. The incident took place during the production of an episode of the Discovery Channel show. Big Chief's Pontiac was apparently struck in the back by Byron Davis's car after Davis reportedly lost control during the race. The events that ensued seemed like they had been cut from a police chase film. At speeds exceeding 100 kilometers per hour, the Crow lost control and crashed into a ditch. The devastation was severe. Big Chief's twin-turbo machine was severely damaged, with the front end ripped away, and the driver's side severely damaged. The accident was survived by both Big Chief and Davis. Still made it to the hospital in a flash. Initial accounts indicated that Big Chief was hurt in several places, including the lungs, shoulders, and back, specifically the L2 and L3 vertebrae. In addition to the bruises on his lungs, he suffered a fractured clavicle and pulmonary contusions. As his condition was continuously watched by specialists, he was put on continuous oxygen and underwent multiple scans. Big Chief remained in the hospital for additional observation, but physicians ultimately determined that back surgery was unnecessary, despite the seriousness of the crash. Regardless, he expressed gratitude for his life and promised his admirers that he would return. Despite being in a hospital bed, he thanked supporters and seemed to be in good spirits. The Crow people lost a whole generation in the crash. Posting a photo of the damaged vehicle and contemplating everything that it had meant to Big Chief, he referred to it as his first love and paid a moving tribute to it on social media. There was more to the Crow than just a vehicle. It was his first vehicle, a representation of his journey, and the engine that propelled him into the realm of street racing. Big Chief was unprepared to slow down. Even if the automobile had given his life to save him, according to him, he wasted little time getting to work on a new ride, a 1970 Pontiac GTO that he meticulously restored into a powerful and stylish Pro Mod. It wasn't merely a replacement. The new ride, called the Crow Mod, was an evolution. The Pro Mod style wasn't an afterthought for him. Something more aerodynamic, lighter and quicker was required by Big Chief. The accident really accelerated his plans to transition to this configuration, but he had already considered it before the crash. A single requirement for the new construction was met by his wife. It needed to be airy. Big Chief finally decided to make a change after years of battling the Crow's weight to stay up with lighter cars. On par with importance was safety. We didn't cut corners when we were making the Crow mod. Chassis components included a carbon fiber body, titanium and chromoly tubing, all assembled by Terry Murphy and Blake Housley of Kansas City's Terry Murphy race cars. 1,000 pounds lighter than the Crow, the finished product weighed in at about 2,300 pounds. Big Chief maintained a time-tested configuration behind the hood. The Crow mod shared its 482Q in Pontiac engine with the original Crow. Big Chief was satisfied with its underwhelming numerical performance, particularly when compared to rivals equipped with monstrous engines. It was a sturdy engine with an iron block and easily accessible components, crank by Crowder, rods by GRP, pistons by Ross, and cylinder heads by Edelbrock Performer. Despite running on VPEM5 methanol, with a compression ratio of 12.3 to 1, it was still a formidable machine, particularly when equipped with two precision 88mm turbochargers that produced more than 40 pounds of boost. Big Chief always thought you could do the most with the least amount of resources. He was honest enough to say he might have a fancier system in the future, but for the time being, he was content with what he had. There was a sense of accomplishment in getting the most out of a smaller, more efficient engine. Pure strength wasn't the only thing that mattered to him. The event celebrated perseverance, personal development, and the ability to lead without physical might. However, while he was putting the pieces back together in his car, another element of his life was subtly beginning to unravel. I had a big transformation in my life in 2017 when his marriage to Alicia ended after more than 10 years. On the podcast Chief and Sean Show, he discussed the situation and how their relationship had reached an impasse from which it could never recover. Things had progressed beyond merely experiencing difficulties, he conceded. A divorce was being finalized between them. Neither of them ever came clean about why they were splitting up, even though speculation about adultery was rampant. A new chapter in Justin's life began with Jackie Brash after he moved on from his divorce. He was upfront about the fact that he wouldn't start seeing her until he had formalized his marriage. Jackie is more than simply a familiar face to him. She has an impeccable reputation in the world of drag racing as a professional motorsports racer. Along with organizing charity racing events, she is a member of Car Chicks, an organization that supports women in motorsports. In a subsequent podcast interview, Jackie confirmed the relationship. She avoided bringing up past conflicts and instead focused on what was to come. For her, Big Chief represented the future she was creating, and the past belonged in the past. However, by the year 2023, every fan was asking the same question: Big Chief, where are you? Fans were taken aback in 2023 when Big Chief was conspicuously absent from Street Outlaws seasons 4 and 5. King, there is no preparation. Big Chief was conspicuously absent from the meeting, in contrast to the punctual arrival of Team 405 members. His Instagram post about getting ready for the new season before production began just added to the mystery. Everyone expected him to be back to his usual self, of course. His absence sparked widespread conjecture. Since there was no formal statement, some speculated that he had been fired from the show. His Instagram bio continued to feature Street Outlaws, which further shrouded him in secrecy and made things even odd. Fans were left to wonder if he would ever come back, as there were no definitive answers. Not for the first time had Big Chief taken a break from the spotlight. He has previously stated that he needed to prioritize his family. Consequently, a lot of people thought it was the original explanation. However, speculation and rumors began to circulate as season 5 progressed without his presence. Some thought he had left the show due to its demanding schedule, opting to focus on his personal life instead. Others, however, suggested a more systemic problem, namely purported tensions behind the scenes. On set of America's List, Big Chief allegedly had a heated argument with fellow racer Precious. The rumors continued. Longtime Big Chief girlfriend Jackie allegedly became entangled in the scandal that drove him to suicide, according to some. Over time, Big Chief personally dealt with the matter. He clarified in a video message that there was no personal issue behind his absence. Differences of opinion with the production business were the deciding factor. He felt uneasy about imposing regulations in which he did not believe, since the show had abandoned its original intent. He added, the show's trajectory, he said emphatically, did not represent the street racing scene he had helped create. Decisions in which he had no say and with which he disagreed were too big for him to stand by and endorse. His remarks were met with disapproval. An further actor named James Goad directly contradicted Big Chief's account of events. He said Big Chief was being deceptive and was making things tough for everyone on the team. More controversy ensued among supporters as a result of the feud. Big Chief may have been absent from No Prep Kings, but he made a brief return on America's List Season 2. An exuberant Instagram post in which he thanked followers and hinted at a major event that was about to rock the Street Outlaws universe was his way of confirming his comeback. However, Big Chief has been silent over his continued absence from the brand, and America's List has not yet been extended for a 3rd season. However, as the remainder of the 405 crew competed at the prominent No Prep Kings event in Pennsylvania, vigilant spectators noticed Chief and Jackie Brash competing at a somewhat smaller grassroots track. At the War in the Woods event, Big Chief showed up and won big in his renowned 1970 Pontiac GTO, the Cross Mod. He triumphed against Tim Bailey's turbocharged C10 truck, Krusty, in 2 days of fierce racing despite the rain and tough competition. War in the Woods was interesting since Big Chief didn't get paid to appear there. Promoter Jeff Thomas made the announcement public, stating that Big Chief had specifically asked to be treated normally. He was content to simply race and re-experience the initial incident. He had no desire for special treatment. There was some muddled thinking during the event when Big Chief's burnout was halted due to the incomplete ship draw. In order to wait for things to settle down, he had to turn off the automobile and endure the heat. It was already mid-burnout for his opponent, Carrie in the Black Widow, when they gave the signal to restart. According to Jeff Thomas, Big Chief handled the situation professionally and without drama, as the whole incident was a miscommunication created by radio troubles. Taken in context, Chief has stated categorically that he would only contemplate a return to the original 4-5 show as a Street Outlaws spin-off. Even then, he insisted that it must remain faithful to its original form in order for it to be significant. If it wasn't the case, he had no interest. Big Chief has been focusing on his personal journey since he stepped away from the limelight. His Midwest street card have been steadily improving, and he has become quite popular on YouTube, where he posts race videos, personal updates, and exclusive looks at the fast lane. To this day, he remains an integral part of the 405 scene in Oklahoma City, where he races, tunes the Crow, and tunes Despite the absence of criminals, Big Chief's influence remains strong. His dedication to street racing has inspired many, and he has the utmost respect from his peers and fans. One thing is certain, he will never be a part of the franchise again. His athletic career is far from over.